Hey folks, what's up? My name is Sir Medieval, and today we'll be talking about some quick news for previous updates over the past few days regarding some MMOs. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The news never stops coming. What's going on, everyone? My name is Sir Medieval, and today we'll be going over some new topics regarding upcoming MMOs. Just when I thought that things were settling down and we were finally getting some room to breathe, something new pops up. I love it. Kicking off the month of August with some MMORPG news, yet another challenger has joined the fray with the name of Defend the Night. Now, Defend the Night is a dark fantasy MMORPG with the challenging, returning to classic gameplay that will keep you on the edge of your seat. In the dangerous world of Certovia, I believe it's called, power demands to be earned. As a result of this, the gameplay will be dependent on the skill and knowledge in order to surpass the opposition. It'll feature some traditional RPG classes, and will have some character progression through leveling, abilities, talent acquisition, and player-owned city development. Players will be able to head out into the darkness of the open world, either solo or with a group of friends, and level through a variety of options, both PvE and PvP. Inside those aspects, the game will feature things like exploration, PvE and PvP events, dungeon crawls, raiding, and player-owned city-triggered sieges and defenses, with global leaderboards being thrown into the mix as well. There will be both open world and instance-based components in this game when it comes to the world itself. It aims to deliver a dark and gritty medieval art style with player-created/modified environments, and without the tedious questing asking players to deliver X, Y, and Z while spending most of our time auto-running through the landscape, just a slower progression nonetheless. Players will also have the option to form their own homestead, progress to a town, and even possibly a full city. Players will be able to create a community, become a citizen or ruler of that city, set up wares, establish local storefronts, manage defenses, and establish a guild in that city, with each city having its own diplomacy and faction set by the city governor. More information on this game will be delivered as time goes on, but I have to say, we're working our way up to a big roster of games that have been announced or are in development, but a lot of us are desperately waiting to see come to light. Going to keep tabs on this one as well for sure. In other news for MMOs, it seems we finally got some news about Lord of the Rings Online. It seems that we have some stout axe dwarves on the way. According to LOTRO players, these specific dwarves refuse to hand over their dwarven ring, having lived in the far east of Middle-earth for all this time. These ones are more grim, taller, and hardened by their captivity. They will feature a new starting race area and also include a female version, which as we know is highly unlikely because both science and Gimli himself tell us that there are no dwarf women. Adding on to that, this race will of course also have class restrictions just like the others. Before now though, I haven't had the opportunity of really playing Lord of the Rings Online that much before I first started it, but I have to say that I'm very excited to get my hands on this specific race, dwarves being my absolute favorite, that is. I can't think of a better time to jump back into this MMO and try to explore it properly this time. Can't wait to see more news about this one. Speaking of which, just a quick announcement, Legends of Arya will actually be going online in Steam tomorrow in the official launch, and that is a game that is also a sandbox MMO, very similar to games like Worm Online and Albion Online as well. This is one that I definitely am looking forward to trying as well, to see what the launch has changed for the game, so I'll definitely be jumping in there tomorrow to see what's going on. In our final news, it seems that we have a few more announcements to talk about regarding the company of Liu, which just so happens to also be the company partnering with Amazon to bring the new version of a Lord of the Rings MMO. So in terms of the announcement, it looks like Liu has announced that moving forward they will also be working on two other titles. The first being Transformers Online, which in this day and age I can certainly chalk up to a game that nobody is really asking for, but one that would be fairly anticipated for. A free-to-play first-person shooter based on the Hasbro's Transformer IP, and this one will be developed by the American studio called Certain Affinity, which took part in the development of several Halo and Call of Duty titles. Now, I've also loved Transformers as long as I can remember, and I definitely give this one a shot day one, especially if we can create our own Autobots and Decepticons. For me personally, I wouldn't dare discount the opportunity to create a hunkered down Decepticon capable of sniping jets out of the sky, just in case these pesky Autobots learn how to fly. And moving on to the next announcement, we've also got some news about Civilization Online. Also not to be confused with the one previously developed by South Korea studio XL Games, which also bears the same title. This one will be an entirely new MMORPG that will be developed around the Civilization universe. Aside from that, not much information is known about what to expect from these two titles, but I can imagine that in the upcoming months or next year, we may be finding out more about them. And with that folks, that is all the news we have for today. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope you have a good night or day. And farewell.